A lot of it is about showing up when asked so that others will be asked. And I recognize that I was early in. I used to be the youngest in everywhere, and not so much anymore. I used to be the only girl, and I'm not so much anymore. But somebody has to show up. Somebody has to take the risk. And because I was early in and I'd had those mentors, I felt like it was my job to show up. I was born in the Piedmont of Virginia, Lynchburg, Virginia, which was a beautiful, gorgeous place at the foot of the Blue Ridge Mountains to grow up. My dad was an architect and my mom was a research chemist. And so I have these right brain, left brain parents that were amazing, and they were creative, but also very passionate about making sure we were independent and we had our own skills and way in the world. So I'm very grateful for that. Growing up, I went to a high school for girls and then a college for women. And both of those institutions taught us that we could do anything we wanted to do. And so I'm also grateful for that sort of independence and self-reliance that I was taught from Hollins College and from my high school. It was challenged then when I first went to work in 1977 for a stock brokerage, and there were no women brokers then. They had no interest in me becoming a broker. So I'm glad I found the furniture business by accident at that time. Then I was at that stock brokerage where they just wanted cute co-eds to walk up and down with the portfolio. And a college mate of mine called my boss to arrange for a furniture delivery for this funky little funny startup furniture company called This End Up, which looked like it was made from shipping crates. And I said, I need a part-time job for Christmas money. And any retailer knows you're desperate for part-time people all the time. So I quickly got hired. And I quickly fell in love with this amazing little startup furniture company. And at 21, after working part-time for a few months, they asked me to manage a new store in Washington. And it changed the course of my life. About 6 months later, the president of the company, Stuart Brown, came to me and we had dinner in Old Town Alexandria, and he said, I want you to go to Chicago and open 10 stores. I will never, ever, ever forget the feeling walking out of that restaurant that somebody believed in me and saw something in me. And so I've lived almost ever since then to try to remember the power of empowerment and the power of belief, of someone believing in you. And I've tried to pass that forward for the next 40 years.
The rising tide lifts all boats. Caroline purely is the rising tide lifts all boats. She supports everyone. That's the kind of advocate Caroline is, because her management style is really about empowering everyone.
And one of the unusual things about This End Up was that Stuart, our mentor, believed that, this was 70s now, late 70s, that he could see that women bought furniture. So we wanted his salespeople in his retail stores and his managers to be women. So in this Roe v. Wade era, Title IX era, thinking that women could get a credit card by themselves, for God's sake, it was really cool to be in this funky little company that was growing up outside the furniture business, really, that was hiring women to do it. So we then opened 250 stores in 10 years. And I went from Philadelphia, opening 9 stores. Then I went to Boston, did it again to try to test my skills, to make my skills better. Then I went to LA and opened 50 stores on the West Coast in 5 years. And the most important things I got from that time at This End Up was the power of culture and the power of empowering people. And we've actually written a book, 4 of us that were in both This End Up and Storehouse, wanted to document it and write it down, because we use these empowerment lessons from Stuart Brown, and he was actually dying of lung cancer right then. So we wrote the book as an honor of all the lessons that Stuart had given us. And what we wrote about, it's called A Pathway to Profit. And people talk about culture often, but they don't tell you how they do it in a process way. And that's what the book is. But we dedicated it to Stuart, and and he did see it before he died, and so we were very happy about that. Now we have a new challenge with Hooker, which is my title is the Chief Creative Officer, and it is just such an honor to be a part of this 100-year-old organization that's so venerable and based in Virginia. And it was time for me to come back home to the Piedmont, and I couldn't be happier to breathe the air and see the mountains that I grew up with. And the Hooker team is amazing. We have 13 divisions, and 9 of them legacy brands that we are trying to pull together in a coordinated lifestyle concept. So it's a real big challenge, but really fun because the people are so amazing.
Caroline's just like a fan of beauty. There are so many times that I've been driving with Caroline and she'll ask me to stop the car and get out and take a picture of a flower or a barn. And it doesn't matter if we have an appointment, because if she sees that, she knows she's never going to see that barn again or that flower or that bird, but she's in the moment. She wants that beauty right now.
There's a Japanese principle called Ikigai, Ikigai. And it's how you figure out, the principle is you find joy and happiness when you're doing what you're meant to do on this earth. And that every one of us is here for a reason. And finding your path and aligning with who you are is the path to joy. And my path to joy in a working world is, I feel like I am here to bring beautiful things to the world in a business fashion, in the decorative arts. And I'm here to build cultures through empowering people. And those are the 2 things that really bring me joy, besides just textiles and photography and my family and my best friends and my godchildren and my nieces and all of those things. Part of your search is to find what you're supposed to do on this earth, and we all have it. So the inquiry and the exploration is your job. Your job is to find the best use of your skills.